Greetings, Rummies, and welcome to Rum, the channel sharing the joy of sim racing and to a musical race today because it's the Nashville Superspeedway, and with us listening to that sweet V6 music is, of course, Cody. How are you, mate?
Howdy. Going to Nashville feels like it warrants a howdy. So we're looking at conditions on track, and they look like they've worsened from the practice that we were looking at before we went on stream.
Yep.
And now it looks like the server is resetting. Wonderful sim racing things.
Completely resetting, like reloading the track.
Mm-hmm.
And as you all can see, this is a D oval, which means it's a oval shaped like a D. It's not a complete oval. And why is it not starting?
There we go. Okay, looking like a bit better weather forecast here.
Oh, pity they did that. They were doing they were doing the practice at night. That looked cool. I mean, not that this does not look cool, but the practice at night looked like really cool.
I don't disagree. Yeah. But yeah, we've got a kind of a lighter grid than we usually would expect for ASRC. We've got 15 drivers here getting ready for what should be qualifying. And it looks like we're doing some more server setting changes. But I will say we've got some pretty big names to look out for. Fabian Ball is, I believe, still the championship leader.
Ooh, by far.
Sort of. Yes, yeah.
Let me put the standings.
Yeah, there we go.
Someday I'll find them. Ah, there. Right under my nose. So Fabian Ball is leading by 112 points. 112 points. Because
that's
Zenkov, yeah, because Zenkov, as we may remember from last race, DNF'd, unluckily. Therefore, he could not gain points and climb up positions. And Bal won. So there's that. Zenkov on second, Shelomanov on third, Valles on fourth, and Paparinopoulos, which is a name that you will love to say, on fifth.
Absolutely. Yeah, there's some other names to look out for that are on this small but power-packed grid. Hankjan Steneker, he's a driver who in previous championships has been a force to be reckoned with. This one, he's struggled a little bit. I think there's been some absences that have put him back in the points, but he's on the grid today and definitely will be one to look at. Nick Stepanenko, he's out on track right now doing his qualifying run, and he is one to keep your eye on. Certainly a talent. Lars Hageman as well, that DHL, that yellow let's see, in 28 car, definitely one to keep an eye out. He is quick. Vladislav Zenkov, he has had two really unlucky showings the last two times around in the previous rounds of this championship. Will today be his lucky day?
He is a good driver.
He's an amazing driver.
Yeah, and he's also a good driver on ovals. So, and if I remember correctly, the last times when he DNF'd, it was by no fault of his own. So
yes, William Snowden as well was a big contender in the Indy 500 race. He is back again, and he's going to be putting on a show for us, I am sure. Definitely one to look out for. That is the blue spotted into white car there, the number 2 I'm sorry, the number 4 car. The number 4 car currently in second place. And it looks like Hunkian Steneker has set the fastest lap of qualifying so far by only 0.004 of a second ahead of Pavel Ivashkin. Would you look at that? Definitely some close racing here. And Fabian Ball is within 1/100th. Yeah, he's within 1/100th of that same lap time, Hunkin Sineker's. So definitely going to be a good action-packed race. These drivers are most likely going to spread out after a little bit, but definitely keep an eye on for the beginning and for restarts, because this is going to be some action-packed racing for y'all. Stay with us. We've got 1 minute and 17 left of qualifying, and we have taken you through the results, but kind of want to tell you guys a little bit about Nashville Superspeedway. So Nashville Superspeedway, this is the track that we're at, is not a super speedway. It is a 1.3 mile tri-oval intermediate speedway. So intermediate as opposed to a super speedway. I believe it has to be 2 miles long or more to be a super speedway. But it's usually characterized by not having to get on the brakes around the corner. Nashville Superspeedway, or at least not having to lift. Like Daytona, Talladega, those are super speedways where you are just full throttle around the lap. This is not that. Although, with the extra aero that the Indy cars have, they're certainly not lifting too much around this track because it's one of the more banked circuits of intermediate ovals. Turns up to 14 degrees, which is again not as high as like a Daytona, where the banking is in excess of 30 degrees. But you can see it is it's got some banking, and these guys can take this not quite flat out, but a very, very quick track.
And we're gonna go into warm up and a race soon enough. That looks nice with the sun and all that. Okay, we're into warm up. So, what does the D shape mean for racing here?
So the origin of the D shape was so that people on the front stretch could see more of the racing action. So you could curve the stands around so that it created kind of a Colosseum effect as opposed to just a straight line where you'd have to like look around your people sitting next to you. And so it was kind of designed not to affect the racing so much, and especially on this one, it's got a 9-degree banking, and so you'll be able to take it pretty much flat out. So it shouldn't change too much about things. The only thing that it will change is that it means that the inside line is a little bit shorter than if it were just, a paperclip oval. So going through the front stretch, you're a little bit better off going through on the inside line.
So the D form is more for spectacle than for driving.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
And I believe it was Daytona that pioneered that.
But Daytona is a D?
Yeah, Daytona's a D shape.
Oh, okay. Look at that. Never entered my mind to look at that. I'll have to look Daytona up after the race.
Most NASCAR intermediate ovals are D-shape ovals. One notable modern exception is Homestead Miami Speedway. That one does not have a D shape. It's just a paperclip.
Which we've been before.
We have. We absolutely have. Nashville, as far as these super speedways or speedways go, Nashville's kind of an interesting one because in the 2010s it kind of fell into disrepair. You didn't really see anybody racing at this track, but then they got bought out, I think it was. It got renovated and started hosting NASCAR events and I think IndyCar events in 2020.
Yeah, thing is, like, what other races happen in ovals in the meantime? Like, they do NASCAR, they maybe do IndyCar, and then
that's about it. Indy Lights used to race here. NASCAR Truck Series is one. But they've never been here. But there's also, you know, at oval tracks, there's like Welland Modifieds and ISMA prototype.
Okay. So there's more than enough races outside of the two standards, IndyCar and NASCAR.
Somewhat, yeah. At Nashville, it's kind of an underused circuit. Again, how I mentioned, it's fell into disrepair for a while, so there really wasn't much going on. But now it looks like they have the Cup Series, Xfinity Series, Truck Series, and yeah, they're bringing IndyCar back here. So
okay, because I know of many of the European tracks that they have different things like MotoGP or smaller series, and what they also do is there's a lot of concerts in the tracks. One of the biggest festivals in Germany, and I think even in Europe, is Rock am Ring, which is at the Nürburgring, and it's, I think, 2 or 3 days of different bands, like top lineup. As I said, I think it's 2.5 days or something like that. That's a way how they keep the money flowing.
Yeah. You know, in 2015, I went to a NASCAR Cup Series race at Texas Motor Speedway. Surprise, surprise. And they had, as the opening act, they had a Sammy Hagar concert. And I had hot pit passes that we'd gotten from a friend. And so I was in the front row of that concert.
I mean, of course, Nürburgring also gets a lot of money from the people that want to drive Nordschleife, because I
that
think
makes a lot of sense.
It costs around 30 euro for a round on the Nordschleife. Which is not completely the whole Nordschleife, but is a big chunk of it. I think you miss the Nürburgring, the track that is also used for GP, and a little bit at the beginning, because you enter like 500 meters into what normally is the Nürburgring. So the best way to drive the Nürburgring completely is on sim racing.
That makes sense.
Oh, doing warm up. 14 drivers, as you said, not a big show. I suppose because some of them are on holiday. That's what you get for organizing something in the middle of August. Talking about organizing something, we are organizing something. Having a wonderful rec fest to fest EVT our 10,000k subscribers. To be precise, we have over 10,200. Okay.
Yes, we are very excited. We're happy to have brought you guys along for the growth. Happy to have you, and everyone who subscribes, we always appreciate greatly. And to show our gratitude, we're gonna crash some cars into each other.
And we have some special guests, which we are not talking about yet because they are not 100% confirmed, but there are gonna be some special fun guests, and you are all invited. I'm looking at different servers right now that we may want to use, and I suppose
big crash.
Oops. Well,
I don't know who that was. But yeah, but like fire crash. I was watching this group of cars go by and just big explosion of fireball. Sorry to interrupt.
No worries. And I suppose we're making a grid of 24, filling the empty places with bots, and expecting and hoping that you all are gonna be filling the places with non-bots, but with drivers, so that we crash around on Wreckfest, which is always fun. Starting 2000 CET on the 24th of August. That's a Saturday. So save the date.
Be there or be D-shaped oval.
Exactly. What?
Well, if we were at Indy, I would say be square, but we're not.
Yep.
So. Be rectangle?
Oh, that sounds like something that Data from Star Trek would say.
It does, doesn't it?
Be there or be a rectangle. No, Data, that's not how it goes. One minute in warm-up, and then we're going into the race. They had discussed that they were going to use oval setups, like the really fast setup, but it doesn't look like that. The configuration of the IR-18 that we are seeing does not look like that. The aero pack is normally smaller than what we're seeing, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, this does look a little bit like the road kit, which is an interesting look. You would expect it to be just these very, very like thin strips of metal in the front for the front splitter, with hardly any canard on the side. And these are not that. They're much meatier, which leads me to think that they are the road kit. There is a short oval kit that bears more resemblance to the road kit, but this is not that.
And the reason is because on ovals they normally rely more on mechanical grip, right?
Yes, there is. I guess you could say it that way. The other thing is they're trying to minimize drag as much as possible, and so the road kits would create a lot of downforce, which glues you down. But when top end speed is the most important thing, you really want to have as slippery a car as you can have, and that takes precedence over having downforce. You still need a little bit just to keep the car planted on the road, and that's why you see oval configurations with at least a small amount of wing. But yeah, this is looking like a lot of wing for this kind of track. So I'm a little curious about that. There might be something that they know that we don't.
They may have tested it during the week and decided that the drivers could not handle that. We have to remember that many of these drivers are driving on ovals for the first time, and therefore they are not accustomed to the way that ovals are driven. Let's not forget that in spite of all the jokes, driving on ovals is a craftsmanship all by itself, and not just driving around in circles.
Yes, whenever you're hot lapping an oval, it becomes very clear whenever you need to find an extra like 0.005 to beat some time, that there's a lot more to it than you'd think. And then compound that whenever you are racing wheel to wheel at such high speeds with other drivers, it becomes very apparent that whenever the track is simple and you are racing so quickly, it is a game of mere inches over such a long distance. And that in and of itself is its own challenge.
And you need a different set of skills to drive on an oval than you do on road. On road, you work a lot with gears and apexes and so on, which you don't do that much on an oval. I mean, you work with gears in an oval, but not as much as you do on road. But you work a lot with brakes and especially the car jacking and so on, so that you can work the understeer. It seems they are having some problems on the server at the moment.
Yeah, we are 24 minutes into the stream, and the warm-up was completed many minutes ago. So yeah, we've not seen them get rolling.
Because they're jumping between warm-up and race preparation, so to speak, and I don't know. It's as if they are having issues getting all drivers logged in or something like that. I haven't heard anything from race control, so I am not able to say anything, so I don't know at the moment. Give me a sec.
Well, I will say, just to fill time, if you thought that Nashville Superspeedway was in Nashville because it's called Nashville Superspeedway, you'd actually be wrong. It's actually in Lebanon, which is even more confusing.
Exactly, because that's away from the USA. No, wait.
Yes, till you realize it's in Lebanon, Tennessee, which is a kind of just a small suburb, half a mile or half an hour away from downtown Nashville. I just thought that was kind of funny, because it was like I was looking up because there's multiple speedways in Nashville. There's also a fairgrounds speedway, which is a short oval. Looks like we're rolling now.
Yeah.
So we will. Yes, we will get sorted. We have gotten sorted, and we'll get racing shortly. Looks like the lights are not out on the pace car, so we're going to go at least one more lap around, and then we'll get rolling. Which, oh goodness, there's a name. There's a new name in last place. I do not know.
Kijk in de Vecht. Sounds very much like somebody from the Netherlands.
Yeah, I was just thinking this is too Dutch for me. I can't.
Well, it's even too Dutch for me, but like roaming in my mind how I've heard people in the Netherlands speak, I think I got it at least near enough.
I will take your word for it.
Okay, so they were trying to get Jair back, but he was somehow disconnected, which is a pity. He's a great driver, but he is not in there. Thank you, Mathieu, for letting us know. And lights are off on the pace car. This car is gonna go into pits, and then we're gonna start 200 laps around Nashville in Lebanon. And if you're confused, yes, we understand. So the Nashville D in Lebanon, and it sounds as if we're sending messages to the NSA or CIA.
We're gonna get going here pretty soon. Pace car is in, but remind me. I will tell you about some interesting town names near me. Here we go.
Start.
And it is Hankjan Steneker in the lead, Pavel Ivashkin in second, Fabian Ball alongside William Snowden in third and fourth. And now here we go. Coming around. Yeah, it's a nice packed field here. Everyone gets around the first 4 turns cleanly. Hankjan Steneker, he is up front. It looks like Ivashkin's trying to make a move on him.
Mm-hmm.
Fabian Ball, those 3 drivers coming out in an early pack, running away from the rest of the field.
Yeah, and Ivashkin very near to Steneker, but it's something that you can do on oval with the Indy cars.
Like Zenkov made a move on Hageman for 8th.
And you'll excuse if we keep with these 3-pack at the front. Steneker, Ivashkin, and Ball.
Very close driving. All of these 3 drivers, you saw them in qualifying. They were so close together. They were within 100th of a second. And that is really, really showing here as these 3 are glued to each other and starting to run away from the field. And only 4 laps into this race.
There's still a lot of laps and a lot of stuff that can happen. Let's move a little bit back to, for example, 4th place Snowden. Oh, thank you. Lawnmower Racing says nice pronunciation. He's Dutch. Hey, I'm doing my best. I am not exactly the best in Dutch, but I've heard more than enough people speak Dutch. I studied in Cologne, which is like an hour or 2 hours away from the Netherlands, and I live also about 2 hours from the Netherlands, so I'm here and there. I'm there visiting friends.
I go an hour in any direction and I'm still in Texas.
Well, you live in a country that is very big and you live in a state that is very big. So, yeah. And Europe has its specialties, like exactly that. And at least with the EU, and if you are in the EU, you can drive through the borders with no issues, because the borders in most countries in Europe are now open. And as I always say, you can go from Poland to Portugal, which is about 2 days drive, without even once having to show your passport.
Everett Dumont has passed Pablo Paz for 6th place with a little bit of a touch there as he got around him. They both came away from it all right, but Dumont is on a tear. He's been coming from behind, and he's got his sights set on Lars Hageman now.
And I gotta say, nine turns into 9 laps into this race, and most of the cars are very near to each other.
Yes, absolutely. There's a little bit of natural catch-up that happens with the draft in oval racing, where the guy in front can't run away with it too easily. Yeah, Everett Dumont passes Lars Hageman for 5th place now.
It looked easy.
Yeah, no kidding. He has just been working his way through the field, Dumont, and looks like he's going to pass De Vries like nothing here in a moment. If we continue out the current trajectory of speed differential, look at that! Look at that! Nice and easy, goes around. And looks like De Vries is holding on a little bit, but not enough to make it stick. And Dumont takes the position. And now what I'm curious about, Dumont no longer with the benefit of the draft. Will he be able to catch these top 3 who have been racing comfortably against each other? Although I will say Hunkian Steneker, Pavel Ivashkin, they're along side by side for the lead and they touch. Hunkian Steneker takes the lead from Ivashkin. Fabian Ball takes the opportunity and gets caught up a little bit more to the both of them. Ivashkin now looking towards the outside again. Fabian Ball looking further outside. The draft got messy and nothing happened.
They should be clever and just race behind each other. Oh, Zenkov DNF'd.
Oh, that's very unfortunate.
Yeah, 3rd DNF from Zenkov. That's not good.
Yeah, he's having, I think, the worst luck he's had of any season that we've covered with him in it. That is unfortunate.
I was saying if Steneker and Ivashkin would be clever, they just would be drafting off each other and getting away from all the others. So it's not a good thing to do, to fight each other already on the 15th lap. Save that for the 20 last laps and get some air between you and the others. Oh, and it seems Ball is now near Ivashkin.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. These 3 have been just so tied to each other. And it seems unable to shake each other, because like I said, there's no benefit of the draft for first place, and so they're just gonna trade places, and we're all going to be the better for it, getting an absolute show. Everett Dumont, I've been looking at his differential. He is 1.2 seconds away from 3rd place, where he's trying to be. And it looks like he has been gaining ever so slightly, not as much as he was before, but I think with enough time, and if the top 3 keep fighting each other the way they have been, Everett Dumont might make this a 4-way fight. He's for the first time within a second.
And doing very consistent points. Getting ever so near to the wall, but not touching it, which is the way you go with these cars. And it's not easy. You see that wall coming near, and you get scared. Ooh, he's only half a second now.
Yeah, absolutely found a burst of speed, and he has now caught up to the draft of Ball. This is officially a 4-way fight. It is Pavel Ivashkin leading Hunkian Steneker, and Ball in 3rd, and Dumont getting ever closer. Although it looks like Ball has a run on Steneker, maybe. Looks like he's not quite able to capitalize on it this time around, but there will be more.
And by the way, thanks to Dumont, De Vries is also getting quite near, so it's shaping up to be a five-way battle for first.
Yeah, absolutely. It is no longer.
Yeah,
it is no longer 3 drivers looking like they were going to run away with it. We've caught up a little bit more democratization of the front of this race. Yeah, don't ask me to place my bets on who's going to win this one. It is absolutely anyone's game at this point.
Yeah. On road, I would have said Bal, because he dominates there. But on ovals, he's not as strong, or the difference between him and the others is not as big as a road.
And you say that, though. He does hold the best lap of this race so far at 25 seconds, 0.438, which is not the lead by a whole lot, but it is the lead nonetheless in the fastest lap competition.
The way it looked as if he was catching up, but for some reason he is lost a little bit of the speed.
A little bit. He's within half a second of Ball, but he hasn't really been able to crack that. You know, go under that. He slipped back a little bit during his run, and he hasn't really been able to regain it. I think he's just outside the slipstream, where he's hovering in some dirty air created by the two cars in front of him. And so he's got an uphill battle there to go that he's just going to have to hot lap his way out of, essentially.
And Snowden has DNF'd. He went into pits, and shortly after that he DNF'd.
Oh, that's unfortunate. I have to wonder if there was a hardware issue. Yeah, that was very that was not long ago. It was only 2 laps down.
Yeah, no, he just went into pits. I was watching that, and then DNF, and I was like, what?
Strange. Well, Ball and Steneker, it hasn't really changed position all that much, but look at how close they are to each other. They just have been glued together, and I think it's because they're trying to draft together to catch Pavel Ivashkin, who at this point is starting to gain a little bit of a lead. Yep. Fabian Ball has the speed, I think, to get around Steneker if he wanted to. I'm seeing him lift just ever so slightly more than usual going into turns 1 and 3, but he probably would be better off ahead of Steneker because it looks like he has a bit more pace, and that pace could catch Ivashkin. But of course, Honka and Steneker not wanting to give that up easily.
Completely different thing. You know what happened to the stream of last week? NASCAR said they had the copyright on those images because they were real images from their race. And I said, no way, Jose, and I can prove it. And after that, they relented and said, oh, okay. Then no, we don't have a copyright. NASCAR claimed copyrights. Imagine that's how realistic the images are. That's how realistic sim racing has become in the meantime.
Yeah, that's been that's very interesting that happened to us. That has been an issue that has plagued people who play the F1 games, especially since the F1 games have the UI of the TV broadcasts on them, and so it makes it incredibly difficult for the automated video detectors to differentiate between the two.
I mean, if they would have wanted the money, we make sense of these streams or whatever, but I just was not allowing them to claim copyright on something that these guys raised and we commentated. Oh wait.
Fabian Ball looking like he's trying to get around Steneker a little bit more aggressively, but he's being held off. We are about to come on to our first lapped down car. Not sure how much that's going to change things, but it could at least shake up the arrow wash and at least change the conditions of this stalemate that we have seen for the past little bit. Everett Dumont has dropped back a little bit, but now he's starting to make a little bit more of a push. He was hovering about 1.2, 1.3 seconds behind Fabian Ball. He has now dipped down below the 1 second interval mark for the first time in a few laps.
The first three have passed lapped the car with no issues. Let's see how Dumont fares. I think he already
yeah, Dumont is about to make his way around. But yeah, again, no big change to Ball and Steneker, but Ivashkin lost a lot of his lead. Ivashkin was nearly a second ahead, and now it is looking like he is losing some momentum, and now Steneker is 0.3 seconds away from Ivashkin, and look at Ball. Within 100th of a second of Steneker. So these guys are putting on an absolute masterclass of how to race professionally, race cleanly, and race very quickly. Looks like Ball going for the inside move, didn't quite get it done, and that's not to say that, you know, it's the lack of skill or anything. Steneker's just barely quick enough to stave off Fabian Ball.
And I suppose if it would be anybody else, Ball would be more aggressive in trying to overtake. But this being his team buddy, he's not being that aggressive. He's just letting him know, hey, I'm here. So if you at any moment feel the need to take a break, I'm here.
Yeah, they're part of the Promix Frost team, and Promix Frost is having a pretty good day today, because you've got Steneker in second, Ball in third, and De Vries is in fifth. He's part of the Promix Frost team as well. You can tell them all because of their liveries being nearly identical.
Yeah, Ivashkin, Steneker, Ball, once again being quite hunched up together. And Dumont just trying to get near enough. But holding on, I mean, hey. Oh, Dumont now really near to Ball. So he found the time, he found the space, and now he's trying to be dangerous to Ball. So Ball either overtakes Steneker to get rid of Dumont, or he finds a way to make life difficult for Dumont.
Or possibly he finds a drafting buddy in Dumont, and they both get around Steneker together. That is also an option.
Yeah, but I don't think that Ball would want to help Dumont in getting in overtaking Steneker.
If it gets him closer to Ivashkin. These are the conversations going on with the drivers and the teams right now.
But it's interesting because Dumont sometimes gets very near to Ball and then he loses a lot of time. Like, I suppose it's when you don't take the corner that well in an oval, that can mean that you lose like 3-4 tenths of a second, and that being so near puts you further away.
Matthew Leclerc has had an incident on turn 4, I believe it was. He's now come back into the pits, but I believe he's lost a front wing that, at least for a moment there. Actually, no, it's still sitting there, and it actually just got hit by one of the cars. His front wing is sitting on the front stretch of the track.
So I suppose in real life IndyCar they would call full course yellow and get that.
Yes, absolutely. Pablo Paz has come into pit. We're starting to see our first round of green flag pit stops. Pablo Paz gets moving again. Of course, Leclerc we know about, having come in, has gone back out. Everett Dumont has lost the most ground on the leaders as he has had this entire race since catching up to them initially. He's almost 2 seconds back now.
I wonder, tires, lack of skill, or because, well, lack of skill would be surprising because he was plowing his way up to the front. He's either realized he's burning through too much fuel and that doesn't fit his strategy, or the tires are not up to snuff anymore. But it's surprising, yeah? We're watching De Vries against Hageman, or Hageman against De Vries, whatever way you want to see it. Battling for 5th. Bottas' battle is still at the front. Vashkin on first, Steneker half a second away, Ball 0.3 of a second away from Steneker, while Dumont is almost 3 seconds away. Very much think that this is an issue with his tires, or he has seen himself forced to save fuel after plowing through the field. And now he's noticing, whoops, I should save a little bit of fuel or I won't make my pit stop window.
We are a quarter of the way through this race. The way that I would see a race like this would be 2 to 3 pit stops. So if you're doing 3 pit stops, you're pitting about now. And we saw that with Pablo Paz. I think most drivers are going to try to go with 2 pit stops. So pitting a third of the way through the race and then 2/3 of the way through the race. And that would put it around lap 60 or 70, thereabouts.
Yeah, and Hageman and Stepanenko are both in pits.
Yeah, I think there was a collision there. 'Cause I'm seeing more debris on the front straightaway. Yep, Stepanenko lacking a front wing there. So we saw a bit of an incident. Or we didn't see it, but we can infer there was a bit of an incident. No replays in online racing in R Factor 2.
Like, there are replays, but I haven't found out how to set them up correctly.
Oh, okay.
Like,
Complex
it seems
replays.
I've been told there are replays, but I'm like, how? And nobody's been able to show it to me. By the way, if you just tuned in, first of all, welcome. And second, remember, Saturday, 24th of October, we're gonna be crashing into each other, celebrating 10,000 subscribers, because we're doing a Wreckfest, with Wreckfest. Everybody is invited. We'll get a server so that we can all crash together. I'll open up 24 places for anybody who wants to come in, and we're working on getting some guests between YouTubers and developers and whatnot, but nobody has completely confirmed yet. In any case, all the places that are not Ike, Cody, or me are gonna be free for example, you, if you want to race with and against us, and most of all crash around, because Wreckfest, as I always say, is the only game, the only racing game where even if you DNF, you have a smile on your face. Saturday, 24th of October, 2000 CET.
And if you don't like any of us, now's your opportunity to crash us. Pavel Vashkin and Hankjan Steneker, they both come in.
Yeah.
Ball stays out, but those are your leader and second place coming in at the same time.
You know that Ball is maybe not a tire whisperer completely, but at least a fuel whisperer, because he doesn't go into pits as much as the others do. A lot of drivers going into pits. I have to restart the tower because R Factor 2 is being stupid. Nope, that's the
Vashkin comes out in 5th, and looks like Steneker came out in 2nd.
No, everybody but Bal is lapped because Bal has not gone into pits.
Yeah.
So, what does it look like? We have Bal on first, Steneker second, Dumont on third, Ivashkin and Hageman are near each other. Hageman trying to get the better of Ivashkin. Both have already been into pits. I think the only driver who has not been into pits of the whole grid is Bal.
I believe Ivashkin has not been in pits.
He
I'm sorry. De Vries.
Okay. All right. Because Ivashkin just went into pits.
I was thinking, hang on now.
Am I suffering from Mandela effect? Because I saw him in pits. Hey, Basement. Yeah, fantastic championship. It's always a lot of fun. So you're gonna be on the next race at Laguna Seca. Laguna Seca on Indy cars is always something very special. Oh! I think there's been a lot of argy-bargy. I see a lot of cars out there. Check.
Oh yeah, Pablo Paz, a big casualty of this.
Yeah.
Nick Stepanenko involved, and Kik Indivikt. I'm not pronouncing that as well as you, but he is also involved. Looks like they've collided in about the best place you can collide, because they came to a rest pretty much in the pit lane.
No. And we have yellow.
Yeah, I'm not surprised by that. So that brings out our first caution of the race, a third of the way through it. We've had a lot of green flag running, and very few DNFs. We've had Nick Stepanenko, though, add that to the list of DNFs, becomes the third driver out of the race.
We have a pace car out. So, Kijk in the fact, DNFs, Stepanenko DNFs, and we already had to see Snowden and Zenkov DNFing, so we now have 4 cars that are out of contention. For once, Stepanenko was not driving the pace car and could enjoy racing. Now he doesn't. But this, of course, is bringing the drivers at the front near to each other. Well, all drivers, but near to each other are going to be Bal, Stenica, and Dumont. And behind them, Ivashkin. So that's going to be fun. And my cats are racing each other. Maybe I should take a camera while we are on pace car and film my cats racing each other.
Hey, there you go. Short track racing. NASCAT.
Oh, NASCAT. Oh, that's a good one. I like that one. Oh, Pass has also DNF'd. Bal goes into pits.
Oh, Paz must have been staring down a very big repair time and figured it wasn't worth it anymore.
And Bal, of course... Yeah, go ahead.
He was able to get that car into the pits under his own power.
And Bal, of course, using the pace car and getting in the minute that the pit lane is open once again. Which is very clever because, of course, doing a pit stop during pace car loses you a lot less time than doing it during green.
Yeah, his main competition, Ivashkin and Hankjan Steneker, they came in under green, and so Bal, having come in under caution, is going to be comparatively better off. So you can see that as Bal is just right behind Steneker, Ivashkin still down in 4th.
Chirinos goes now into pit. Let me take a look at the front. Pace car still has its lights on. Okay, so at the moment, at the front of the grid is Gerrit de Vries. Is that right? That's one thing that I don't know enough of Netherlands. Whoops. Safety car. It's worth it. It's here. And now the lights are off, so when they finish this lap, the pace car is gonna go away and we're gonna resume racing.
Yes, we are going to be back to green shortly.
So why are Ball and Steneker once again in pits?
That's a great question. It's both of them at the same time. Did they receive a penalty by any chance?
I didn't see anything about that.
There. Strange. Very strange. They still show on my timing screen that they're first and second.
Yeah,
whenever we
that's
cross the line, that
a
may
little bit
update.
wrong. Yeah.
Yeah.
So pace car is in. Next, we cross the end line. We'll be racing again, which is gonna be very soon.
Here we go.
Okay, let's see, because as we know and we've said many times, yellow begets yellow, so let's see how they survive the first laps.
We've got the Hagemans in seventh, getting awful close. Dumont and Ivashkin are fighting it out, trying to make their way around the lap down to Vries there. Ivashkin goes through, and Everett Dumont gets, he gets caught behind. A little bit of repositioning there. Dumont had a lot of speed, but it was wasted as he got blocked in by Ivashkin and De Vries. Oh! Whoa, Dumont taps the wall. Hageman goes around. Lars Hageman now passing by as well, and that one was for position. Lars Hageman on the lead lap, on the main lap. It is still Hans-Jan Steneker and Fabian Ball in first and second. So whatever we saw with that pit stop did not change the running order of things, which is a little bit odd. But we have Hans-Jan Steneker trying to work his way through Dumont. You have Jesus Hirinhos. This is where you get a lot of drivers that are on pace with each other but not on the same lap. Hans-Jan Steneker trying to find his way around Dumont. Dumont is in fifth. Steneker is in first, and so Dumont should let Steneker by, but it's really Dumont is allowing him to go by. Steneker just needed to have the speed to do it. Now, Steneker makes his way through. Ball is 2 cars away from Steneker. He's going to need to make his way around. Dumont goes down to the inside there, and Dumont is pitting in. Interesting choice. We did see him pick up some damage probably from that collision with the wall.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Because he hit hard.
Yes, absolutely. So we have now 5 DNFs total. So that leaves 9 drivers on track. Not all of them are on the same lap as each other. We have 4 drivers on the lead lap. That's Steneker, Ball, Ivashkin, and Hageman. Garrett De Vries is the first driver on the lap down lap, and he is alongside Hageman and just Hageman. Hirinhos is 2 laps down, and Hirinhos and Dumont, who is now in the pits, are 2 laps down. So we have kind of 2 packs of drivers, but what makes that tricky is that on track they're all together with each other, but they're fighting almost 2 different races out at the moment. But yeah, Steneker, Ball, and Ivashkin, that has been the podium in various different configurations, but that has been the podium the entire race today. Yeah. seeing, I think Fabian Ball is trying to find a little bit more pace. He's kind of losing ground on Hankjan Steneker, who at this point is over a second and a half ahead. He has the benefit of racing with a crowd. Fabian Ball, he is all by his lonesome. He does not have a drafting buddy. Tell you what, De Vries and Lars Hageman, this is the battle for fourth. They are really going at it. I just saw De Vries bump the back of Lars Hageman, upset both of their cars. Bjorn Hageman is in 6th place on the same lap, and then behind him you have the leader Hankjan Steneker. So any collisions that cause a major incident will have potentially big implications for the rest of this race. Now you see Hageman catching up to Garrett De Vries. And see a little bit of rubber banding going on here. They've spread out a bit more. This is, again, what makes a speedway different from a super speedway. These guys do have to let off the gas going into the turns 1 and 3, those entry corners into the big circle. And you can see that the rubber banding occurs. That's something you don't see with a true super speedway because they're just flat out through all of it. But in areas like this, they're slowing down, and then in the mid corner, they are getting back on the gas again, and it is full throttle until you get to turn 1 or turn 3, and then you repeat the process, so on and so forth. It sounds easy, but then remember, everyone else is trying to do it as good as you. De Vries and Bjorn Hageman, we're seeing a fight starting to maybe shape up as Bjorn Hageman got really close to De Vries for just a split second, and then he starts to slip back a little bit, just a tad. I say just a tad. By a tad, I mean 2/10. And that has now gone down to a little under 1/10, and now it's 2/10 again. You can see how this becomes a game of inches at such a high speed.
That's what she said.
I'm gonna let you sit with that one. I'm gonna let you think about what you've done. All right, Hageman is now lacking a little bit compared to Garrett De Vries, and now it is Steneker who's trying to rein him in to lap Bjorn Hageman. And let's see, speaking of Hankjan Steneker, looking back a little bit, Fabian Ball is within a second, but not really much better. He's got a little bit of a run now. Look at that. Actually, Fabian Ball found half a second on Hankjan Steneker, halved the gap to him. Still needs to make his way around Jesus Herinhos. But if he can do that, it's going to be him and the lead. And it looks like Fabian Ball is alongside Herinhos. And he makes it through cleanly. Just flies by Bjorn Hageman there as well, and so now there's nobody in between Ball and Steneker. It is just about a half a second in between the two of them now.
And Ivashkin is almost half a second away from Ball and Steneker. Ivashkin was leading.
Yeah, who was leading? He is now down in. He's been down in third. He's 24 seconds away by my count.
That's almost half a second.
Half a lap. Oh, half a minute.
Thingy.
I see.
Thingy.
That is almost a lap.
Yeah. Because Ball still has the fastest time around here, which is 25.5 seconds. Which is not the way that they would measure this in the United States. They would be measuring the best speed that they have. When they are on ovals, they're talking about the fastest, the highest speed. that the cars have and not about differences. De Vries DNFs.
Oh, that's a big name to DNF. Garrett De Vries was running in the top 5 pretty consistently. Wow. We do not know why, but that brings the total DNFs to 6. 316 kilometers an hour at the end of the backstretch there for Fabian Ball.
Which is, again, not the way that they would be saying it in the United States.
They'd be saying it miles per hour, but I haven't ticked that box in R Factor 2 yet. Although putting it that way does put it in a way where it can be understood. Everett Dumont finding some serious speed, trying to unlap himself. Wow. Splits himself between Ball and Steneker, and now passes Steneker to get back on, I believe, not the lead lap, but brings him back one more lap. So he is now only 3 laps down as opposed to 4.
Let's see if he's able to find more speed and completely unlap himself, but that's going to be difficult.
We are almost at halfway through this race. We're at lap 95 of 200.
And we have a pack here of lapped and not lapped cars and whatnot. So a little bit difficult. If I see it correctly, we have Seneca, Ball, Hageman, and Chirinos.
Looks like it. Yeah, the big gap from the 2 leaders is the gap from Ball to Ivashkin, where he's 22.5 seconds back. That's gotten, I think, a little bit better than it was the last time we checked in, but it's really a 2-car fight at the moment. But boy, is it a close 2-car fight, as Ball comes within a 1/10 of Steneker. Look at that. He's looking to the outside and looks like he just passes him for the lead. And Ball slipping in a little bit behind Chirinos to take advantage of that draft. Gains even more distance on Hankjan Steneker. And Ball's reign of terror in this championship seems to continue. He has proved unstoppable.
And even considering that he is not an oval specialist, he's better on road than on oval, but yeah, he's making me a liar in the way that he is really dominating. But Steneker is still quite near him.
Yeah, Steneker's not out of the fight yet. Steneker has proven to be as quick a driver as Ball. But if anyone has the slight edge, it is Ball in this race. And so we're now seeing that gap rise to 0.4 seconds, apart from 0.2 seconds like a lap ago.
I was looking, but now we have 4 cars that are on the same lap. And we have passed the halfway point of the race. Still, the 2 cars that are nearest to each other and that could be battling, but they are on the same team, are Steneker and Ball. doesn't want or doesn't find a way around Chirinos. What I'm seeing, Chirinos is doing also a great race, at least at the moment. Maybe it will be that Bal says, okay, that's a good speed, I'm content with that, I'm keeping that until Chirinos slows down, and then I suppose Bal is going to be overtaking him, but for now, good speed. Maybe Bao is going to be changing opinion soon enough. He seems to be getting ever so near Chirinos. This is the 10th race of the ASRC on Nashville Superspeedway, which is a D oval, in their IndyCar 2024 session. And not an IndyCar session, more of a fun race is gonna be on the Saturday 24th. We are gonna be wreckfesting, enjoying the 10,000 subscriber we crashed through a couple of days ago.
Absolutely. We are breaking through subscriber milestones like Wreckfest cars break through tire barriers.
You mean as messy as?
Yes.
Yeah, we're now 5 figures. Man, those were the days. Remember when you became number 100 subscriber? Number 100. Well, there's a couple of zeros more behind that.
Now there are.
And I remember reaching the 500. Doing the first online race, or no, the first broadcast race with a group that I still have contact with. Around 10,000. Funny how time passes when you're having fun.
Mm-hmm.
And how Fabian Bal does not pass. Oh, that was a bad one. Chirinos, because seemingly he's having fun behind him. I mean, he's gained 2 seconds over Steneker. So.
Yeah, this is true. Yeah, certainly building up a nice cushion with which to enjoy. Ivashkin getting ever closer though to the top 2. He was almost to a point where he was in danger of being lapped, but now he is 15 seconds away, so he's gained about 10-11 seconds on second place.
And it's not because of different tires, because as far as I know, on ovals they only have one type of tires they use all the time.
I believe so, yes.
It's not like road races where they have 2 types of tires. Oh, so what I'm reading is a lot of the drivers that are not here today, they are not here because of power loss issues at their respective homes.
Oh? Do we have like a country that's having power troubles? Or?
No, it's different countries.
Oh.
So it's like a curse on the drivers here or something like that.
That's very interesting.
And Zenkov retired because while he was on track, he was not seeing the others, and he was not getting any connection loss issues, but he thought it was very strange, and before blinking in and out in front of somebody else and crashing or so, he retired so that the others could race safely. Which shows his class and how good of a sim racer he is.
I see.
Oh, and Snowden DNF'd because he's got a storm arriving, and he just decided better not to use any electrical appliances. Man!
Well, my, how the turntables. For once, it's not me with the power loss issues.
Yeah, true that. But that's a very strange situation today.
Absolutely.
Hageman in pits. So that's not the pit stop that you were expecting. I think that you're expecting more the pit stops to be around lap 150.
Yeah, we've seen some, well, I guess lap 140. This is a little bit early, but it's not too out of the question. 80 laps to go, and so these guys are going to be, gearing up for their what their understanding will be their last pit stop. So someone taking it a little bit earlier. We see a Leclerc, we see a Vashkin as well in the pits. That's an interesting choice from Ivashkin coming in. He's, again, it was around 15 seconds away from the leaders. It felt like he couldn't afford this, but I think getting the positioning of taking your pit stop now, and then, of course, the leaders will inevitably have to take their pit stops. Once he gets out, he'll be able to get out in front, and maybe he'll be able to block and slow them down to maybe not have to fight so hard whenever his tires inevitably get older. Ivashkin, he comes out in 4th place.
Right behind Chirinos.
Yep, and just gets lapped by Fabian Ball.
Which is, I suppose, not what he was planning to happen.
Well, probably is for the moment, but certainly not when he set out this morning to race this race.
So we're down to 8 drivers, unluckily. In a grid that started small because, as we said, a lot of the drivers were having issues with power in their homes, in their neighborhoods, which is a very strange coincidence. I was expecting because of the holidays, but nope. It's not as if they wanted not be here. Being able to drive us any way he likes because there's nobody in front of him. And Steneker is almost 6 seconds away from him. At the moment, the cars are all very spaced from each other.
Jesus Herinhos comes into pit. This is his second pit stop.
Yeah, so we had already, what was it, 3 or 4 drivers that have gone into pits around lap 120 to 130. Not Bal though.
Nope, Ball has stayed out, as has Honkyan Steneker. Ivashkin has made his way back up to 3rd place in all the shuffle, gaining that one position that he needed. So he's at least back where he was. He's just now 2 laps down, and Ivashkin is going kind of a little wonky. I just saw him tap the wall as I was taking a look at his car. It seems to be pulling to the right.
Whoops. Yeah.
I'll have to keep an eye on his pace.
Yeah,
His last lap was a 27-second run, which is the slowest of any driver.
Goes into pits, we'll know why.
For sure, yeah, that would be a really unfortunate issue for Pavel Ivashkin. But yeah, it looks like he's kind of running off pace here.
He doesn't seem to go into pits. Steneker now in pits. Oh. Now I was gonna say it leaves only Bal not going into pits, but that's not true. We have many other drivers that have not taken their second pit stop. Spit stop would also be an interesting thing. No, it's a pit stop.
Yep. Fabian Ball, though, we saw him take his pit at around like 80 laps to go. And so I believe he's already made his. Yeah, on a full course yellow. So I believe he's already made his.
So you think he's going for one pit stop?
He made a pit stop earlier in the race, did he not? Around
yes,
lap
yes,
60-ish?
but that would be so he did 60 and yeah, that was a strange one. Like he did a pits, and as we're speaking, he goes into pits.
He's coming in again. I guess if Steneker came in, that allows him the opportunity to do so as well. So that makes sense. Weather scheduled based on his strategy or not. One way or another, he's coming in same as Hankjan Steneker, but not before getting an extra lap that Steneker might just eliminate.
As he does right now. But on the other hand, I don't expect Steneker to get ahead of Ball.
Pretty quick stop for Ball. It's going again. And Steneker is just now crossing the line. Ball is coming out. It's going to be close, but it looks like Ball is going to get out ahead of Steneker. But yeah, that puts them within 6 seconds of each other. Or I guess within 7 seconds.
So Steneker gained a little bit of time, like about 1 second. On the other hand, as we've said a couple of times already in this race, they are both in the same team. Any battle between those is gonna not be a bitter battle. After 3 years. And yes, Steneker is now under 6 seconds away from Ball. I suppose because he's got warm tires, better grip, and Ball has to get his tires in temperature. Ivashkin pits.
I suppose if you were so inclined, you could have a bitter batter butterbeer.
Ha! You cannot even say it after 0 beers.
Yeah, there you go. Bitter battle butterbeer. There you go.
I think Steneker just slightly tapped the wall. Nothing to write home about, but it looked as if he... It's not a difficult thing to... Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, Ivashkin comes out of the pits in 6th place behind Shrinhos and Hageman. So now Ivashkin, he's with that extra pit stop and that extra time to come in, probably to repair that damage where it was pulling to the left. I'm sorry, pulling to the right. It's pulling to the left. That's better. But if it was pulling to the right, he's now 2 laps down, and he's got Hankjan Steneker right behind him. So definitely Ivashkin was in a better place 40 laps ago than he is now, and it's going to be a hard road to get back up to the level of competition that he was at where he was leading the race. It's one of those things that makes oval racing as challenging as it is, because your strategy becomes so important. Because when you're racing, you're racing to save hundredths of a second around the oval, and you're gonna do generally laps within a range of a couple tenths at the most. The biggest things that alter your track position are drafting with someone and gaining a lot of time that way, racing in a pack versus racing alone, and pit stops. Your pit stop strategy, your ability to avoid incidents, those become incredibly difficult, especially whenever you're racing at such a high level as these leaders like Ball, Steneker, and Ivashkin.
And of course, handling the tires and the fuel consumption accordingly to the strategy that you have.
For sure.
No need to set up a strategy that you go in pits on lap 80 when you have driven your tires to shreds on lap 40. And it's not easy. With these, it depends on the track. Like on road, the tracks have different levels of Remember also that on oval there are a lot of lateral forces working on the tires. Almost continuous lateral forces, different to what happens on road. The lateral forces change and so on. So from a physics and engineering perspective, it's always very interesting to see the differences between oval and road racing. And by the way, we're watching all the time Chirinos and Hageman, who are both quite near to each other. Chirinos looked as if he was about to overtake Hageman, and now he is losing a little bit of time. For whatever reason, maybe he wants to get some distance.
Shrinhos Hageman certainly our closest battle. That's the battle for fourth. But yeah, not too much hot action going on right now. It's a lot of chess, not checkers, playing going on at the moment.
Also because we only have 8 drivers on track after having so many DNFing.
There's that.
I keep watching the wheel of Chirinos, and he keeps on 5th all the time. He doesn't change gears. The speed is quite consistent around... now he went into 6th, down to 5th. So he mostly keeps on the same gear. Speed is quite consistently around 310, only slightly on the corners going to 290. So this is not a pedal to the metal kind of race on this D oval, but there's not that much difference. I don't remember. I think on R Factor 2 you can change the gearing to set it up the way that you most prefer, right?
Yeah, there's adjustable gears on these Dallara cars.
So that would be something that you might want to make fit for the track that you're in.
Always.
So that you can keep on the same gear and not having to think too much about gearing, and having the gears in the better efficiency. Hageman into pits. That's
we
one
have to
thing.
Specify which one. That's Lars Hageman, the yellow DHL car.
That's one thing that many people who do setups forget, and that is that you can also change the gearing, which is what a lot of mechanics do on the cars for any given race. You do change the gearing to make it fit to the track where you are. And that's something that I don't see many setups doing.
Okay.
Like I see a lot of sims allowing for that, but when people do setups, I don't see them speaking of or thinking about gearing and changing that. Very often.
Yeah. Go ahead. It's okay. It's usually a really simple calculus, which is just how fast are you going at the fastest part of the track, and then is that the top of your final gear? And if it is redlining and you're not going as fast as you could, then you need longer gears. And if you are going, you know, not all the way to the top of the rev range by the end of the fastest part of the track, then you need lower gears. And that's I think a fairly simple calculus that probably just people don't think of as much because it is so simple.
Yeah, you're thinking too easy. Like on oval, maybe not as much as on road, but you also have to think about the slowest part of the track and where to get that gear and how to use the intermediate gears. Like F1 has up to 8th gear. I think touring cars or GT3s have 6 gears and so on, and you don't want to be changing gears all the time in the middle of a corner or something like that, because of course every time you change gears you change the relationship between the motor and the torque and so on. So changing gears in the middle of a corner is not something that you want to do. So you want to be on the right gear for the right corner. So if we are only thinking about top speed, I agree with you, easy to do. But if you're thinking about all the different corners that you are and how you want to take them, or what would be the best ratio in general in the corner, within the corners of that track, then you start playing around with gearing below the highest gear. And before somebody says, normally you only use the first gear at the beginning of the race or for a start from zero. Normally on races and on race cars, you only go down to second. You very seldom go down to first after having started the race.
Now, if you're racing Po, the Po street circuit, that might be a little different.
Yeah.
Because of how tight certain tracks are. So that is subject to the track you're at, but
yeah,
certainly at a track like this, no.
Yeah, I mean, Po is like, look, the least of your problems in Po is the gearing. Surviving even one lap is gonna be like in Macau they have this 180 that is this hairpin. Whoop! Chirino's going into pits, or why did Mageman going into pits, or why did oh yeah, he's going. Like in Macau they have this 180 hairpin that is on constant yellow. Like that one always shows yellow, and it's standard. Like
yep.
They never take the yellow away, and that one you take on first now. And I've seen enough cars in real life and in sim racing that, or enough drivers that somehow forget about that one and go too fast and lose control.
Guilty as charged.
Yeah, Macau is a beast. A wonderful, wonderful beast, but a beast nonetheless. I prefer Macau to Monaco.
Oh, for sure.
And by the way, Bal is leading uncontested for now with 10 seconds between him and Stenekar. Ivashkin, who was on first for a long while, is now on fourth behind Chirinos, Stenekar and Bal, and one lap down from Bal and Stenekar. And we are on the last quarter of this race.
Do you think we'll see any more pit stops?
With 30 laps to go, if we see any pit stops, it will be because people got their fuel calculations wrong. We've seen that in the past here, like people going on the seventh, going 7 laps before the end of the race, Leclerc into pits. So I don't think we're gonna see many more pits. I would say after lap 175, which is coming soon enough, I'd be surprised if we see any pit stops that are not forced or because of an accident or people miscalculated the fuel and would not end the race if they don't go into pits to have a little bit of splash and dash. And certainly I don't expect any pit stops anymore from Balfour.
Oh, for sure, for sure. Speaking of Ball, he is handily leading the race. 11.7 seconds ahead of Hankjan Steneker. Those are the only 2 drivers left on the lead lap. And then we have Jesus Herinhos in 3rd place. And he is staving off Pavel Ivashkin in 4th. Your previous leader of the race, who is now 2.5 seconds behind Herinhos, trying to get back onto the podium. And then we have Lars Hagemann and Bjorn Hagemann in 5th and 6th. They are 2 and 3 laps down from the leader, respectively. Those are your top 6 drivers.
So all things considered, we only had 1 full course yellow. It's been a peaceful race, all in all.
Yeah, that's been very interesting seeing such a green flag running of this race. It's got some pros and some cons, because I think one of the pros is that we've got as many drivers as we do have still, and more incidents would probably have more attrition. But it is a bit of a con because with such green flag running, we've got very spread out. We've had a lot of drivers get lapped.
But if I compare it to the Indy 500...
Yes, yeah.
There is a battle shaping up for 3rd between Ivashkin and Chirinos.
Absolutely. He's been working for that for a while, Ivashkin. Oh, yeah. And it looks like it's finally starting to maybe come to a head.
And as we are 20 laps away from the end of the race, if Ivashkin continues this way, he may be able to be dangerous to Steneker. See how this shapes up. And he goes for the overtake, touches Chirinos. Ooh.
Big slide from Ivashkin
Yeah.
there after the touch. And that's going to set him back quite a bit. Surprised that it didn't send one or both of them around all the way. It was very, very good for Ivashkin to catch the slide and stay in the hunt. But yeah, that's going to set things back quite a bit there. I'm sure Shrinhos is not terribly happy about that. But Ivashkin is still within 2 seconds of Shrinhos, and so if he didn't cook his tires too much with that slide, we're going to see a rematch happen in a few laps. The question is, will he be able to gain enough time in enough time? We are at lap 183 of 200. We're under 20 laps to go in this 200 lap race. It is still Fabian Ball in the lead, Honk-Jan Stineker in second.
Chirinos in pits? Yes.
Oh, looks like it.
That's okay.
That's an interesting.
I did not expect that.
I was curious about if we were going to have anyone else come in, and it looks like we've got our answer.
That's strange. Like in real life, I would say he got his tire sliced by Ivashkin, but I think the Sims are not. Don't have that. Overall, most Sims don't take much care about tires and tire issues. The first one that is going extensively there is Automobilista 2. And is Ivashkin losing time? He's getting slow.
Pavel Ivashkin, he has his last lap was a 26.266, but now Matthew Leclerc is passing him, not for position, but on track, passing him with ease. His last time running was a 26.304, so it seems as though he's still got pace. I don't see a problem at the moment, but we will keep an eye on him for sure. I think what may have happened is just Matthew Leclerc found a new burst of speed, and he just set a 25.844, which is not the fastest lap of the race, but certainly the fastest lap we've seen in a while, as this track has gotten a little bit slower and these drivers' cars have gotten a little bit more tired.
So what I see looking at the onboard of Ivashkin is he's having to do a lot of micro corrections. Oh! He's having to do a lot of micro corrections, and the wheel vibrates a little bit more than you would expect, so maybe he flat spotted the tires, which makes it of course more difficult to drive. But he's lost a lot of time to the Hagemans. I mean, he's not losing position, because they are just unlapping themselves with regards to Ivashkin, but still. And last 10 laps of this race, Ball in first with no issues to speak of. Out to lap. About to lap Ivashkin. Second is Stineker. Third is Ivashkin, who, as I said, is gonna get lapped quite soon. Fourth, Lars Hagemann, and fifth, Björn Hagemann. Ivashkin making life difficult for Bal, which he has every right to do so.
Yeah, Ball trying to lap Ivashkin again, and Ivashkin trying very hard not to get lapped here towards the end of the race.
Like, it's okay that you're winning and you already took first position, but let me keep a little bit of my pride.
It won't change anything but the statistics.
Yeah.
But definitely something to keep an eye on.
On the other hand, maybe he should allow Bal to lap him, Dumont in pits, and then use the draft to get near to Steneker. It's interesting. I have set up the onboard of Bal, and it's interesting to see the racing line that Bal is using and now trying to overtake on the inside. I think he's gonna make it stick. Yeah, he's now past Ivashkin. And forget about using the draft, he's flying away.
Yeah, definitely a big speed differential there. Jesus Chirinos, after the pit stop, he's down in 6th place. It's really interesting the way that we have gotten here, but we have ended up back again with 3 laps left to go in this race of Fabian Ball, Ankian Steneker, and Pavel Ivashkin in 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. We've had a very roundabout way of getting there, especially Pavel Ivashkin's journey. Pavel Ivashkin now 2 laps down as opposed to fighting for the lead, but he's passed Lars Hageman. Jesus Chirinos came into pit and left contention, and so Pavel Ivashkin has a very hard-fought podium to look forward to just a few laps from now. And hey, would you look at that? Towards the very end of the race here, Everett Dumont, a driver we have hardly talked about at all in the second half of this race, but who was fairly pivotal in the beginning, has just set the fastest lap of the race, beating Fabian Ball's long-held 25.43 something, and he has set a 25.409.
That's not
very.
He's got first timers.
Yes, yeah. Absolutely. But hey, lap 200 of 200, Fabian Ball coming around the back stretch. Now he is 2 corners away from a victory here at Nashville Circuit. Nashville Superspeedway. There we go, crosses the line. It's Fabian Ball taking another lead. Ankian Steneker coming into the pits.
For fuel. I'm so sure that it's for fuel.
Well, so he does Ivashkin, cross the finish.
Does it count?
I think so.
Oh, Ivashkin very slow.
Yeah, Ivashkin, it looks like might be out of fuel.
Yeah, he's going into pits too.
Pavel Ivashkin sitting in 3rd place. I see Hageman having crossed the line, has pulled over, so I think we are through. It is final. Fabian Ball, Ankian Steneker, and Pavel Ivashkin, 1, 2, and 3.
Apologies for that confusion to our viewers, but R Factor 2 is not very good in showing who has officially crossed the line and who not. All right.
Well, interestingly enough, if you look at the lap counter in R Factor 2, it is showing Steneker as being on lap 199, and Fabian Ball is being on lap 200. And we see Fabian Ball doing his well-deserved donuts. But Hankjan Steneker has left the race. Vehicle stored in the garage. Pavel Ivashkin, similar. It looks like it is official. But yeah, a bit of confusion here with the software at the end of the race. But we're going to call it Fabian Ball, Hankjan Steneker, Pavel Ivashkin, your 1, 2, and 3.
And that finishes the 10th race of the IndyCar season 2024 of the ASRC. Let me check. Yeah. Next week, we're going to be at Laguna Seca, which is always a pleasure to see and horrible to drive insofar as that it's quite a difficult track, especially on IndyCars. But any famous last words from you, Cody?
Lebanon, Tennessee, not Lebanon in the Middle East.
And as always, my famous last words are safe fuel, collect pickup, and we'll see each other at the podium. Bye.
Bye.